have revealed the MAGA Republicans' three-step plan for classic fascism. MAGA, of course, Make America Great Trump, because the MAGA world is splitting into factions. There's the pro-Trump faction, there's the QAnon faction, there are now smaller Ron DeSantis factions. That would be the MAGAD, M-A-G-A-D, DeSantis. There's the MAGA Pence faction. So, the MAGA Trump faction is increasingly being clear about their goal. They want to make America into Russia, or at least Russia's mini-me, Hungary. And they're openly embracing this modern, westernized, Christian, white supremacy-based version of classic fascism. They also have a three-step plan to get us there. And, these guys have read their history. They know that once you have fascism installed, it is almost impossible to extract it. I mean, in Germany and Italy, it took a world war and defeat at the hands of the Allies to end fascism in Germany and Italy. In Spain, fascism didn't end until 1975 when Francisco Franco finally died. I mean, seriously, there's documentaries about this. It's amazing. Right up until 1975, the government of Spain was still run as a fascist government, imprisoning their political opponents and, insanely corrupt. In Chile, it took a massive a generation-long effort to oust Pinochet. Once you've got a fascist government, it's hard to get rid of because they burrow in like a tick. So to accomplish the fascist takeover of the United States, the fascists in the GOP have a three-step plan. Number one, take over election systems. Say that you're going to stop election fraud. You're going to assure electoral integrity, and basically make it hard for anybody to vote who isn't one of your voters. In addition to that, gerrymander like crazy. They're doing this in Russia. They have done this in Russia, and they have done this in Hungary. This is gerrymandering, is why Orban's party, which in the last election got 53% of the vote, got 68% of the seats in parliament because of gerrymandering. Now, how did they get 53% of the vote? All of the media, virtually all of the media in Hungary is now either owned by Orban and his buddies, or owned by Orban's crony billionaire oligarchs, or is state-run media, the Hungarian equivalent of PBS and NPR, which all just sing the praises of Orban. Any little thing Orban does, they sing his praises. Anything the opposition does, they just completely ignore. They've so blacked out opposition candidates that many people see the name of the opposition candidate for the first time when they go to vote. They have no idea who these people are. So number one, take over your election systems. This is what's happening down in Texas, for example, where the Texas legislature just took over or just set it up to take over Houston's election system by partisan Republicans. Number two, build a fascist base. The main way that Orban is doing this, the way that the way that Putin did it in Russia, is by hating on and trashing minorities, particularly racial minorities and gender minorities, and to a lesser extent, religious minorities. I mean, you merge large church factions into the party. You fund a fascist-friendly media infrastructure. You align your policies with the richest and most powerful billionaires and industries, and you call for a return to traditional roles for women. This is how you build a fascist base, number two. And number three, you seize control, the ultimate state power, the power to kick in your door and imprison you and use it against your political opponents. This is what just last week Donald Trump called for, when he came out and said that if he becomes president, he will appoint a special prosecutor. Now, keep in mind, it shouldn't be the job of the president to appoint a special prosecutor. That's the job of the attorney general. But Trump says he will appoint a special prosecutor who will prosecute Joe Biden and his entire family. Now, why is this dangerous? Because after the Nixon scandals in 1975, the Department of Justice wrote a series of policies, rules for themselves that basically created a firewall between the White House and the Department of Justice. And that was respected until Bill Barr became Attorney General. And then Bill Barr, on behalf of Donald Trump, politicized the DOJ, corrupted the Mueller investigation or the report about it, intervene to get lighter sentences for Michael Flynn and Roger Stone, et cetera. And now you've got Trump openly saying that if he becomes president, he is going to fully politicize the Department of Justice. We were warned about this. Nancy Pelosi got through the House of Representatives a piece of legislation that would have put into law these rules that the DOJ put into place in 1975 to prevent the president from using the Department of Justice and the FBI as his own private political persecution machine, the way that Donald Trump tried to. Congress passed this in the House of Representatives. It went to the Senate. Now, again, this is a piece of legislation that would simply have prevented the president from politicizing the Department of Justice. It would have, maintained the independence of the Department of Justice, political independence. And the Republicans so fought this in the Senate that it died in a filibuster. This should have been our warning that, fascism is on its way. And this is exactly, by the way, what we've seen Orban do in Hungary and we've seen Putin do in Russia. And now the Republican Party, the MAGA Republicans, want to do this here in the United States. The only way we're going to stop this is by waking people up to exactly what they're up to. So pass it along, right? Spread the word. Tag you're it.